Welcome to our last High Desert Highlight Show. I'm Steele Haugen. This is Peyton Thomas, and boy, has this been a fun ride.
The best ride. But let's take a look at the girls' 5A bracket. Heading into the state tournament this week, we had two local teams in it, and Steele, I think this quadrant, the one we're really focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. These teams already played each other twice, already high in the rankings, similar styles, similar matchups. Doesn't get much better than that.
All right, they face off in the quarterfinals, and Steele, it was a good one.
Yeah, and let's wrap this year up. Heading into the state tournament, the local teams playing head-to-head. Now we're heading right to the fourth quarter now. Redmond versus Summit. Offensive rebound and bucket for Kaylin Chris for the Storm. Now Summit up the court. Kennedy, Ballum stops, fires. There it is. This time, Redmond puts up a three, but it's rejected. Look at this block.
Absolutely not. Get it out of here.
Here's a slow motion look into
the two-handed block.
The bleachers. Now, Redmond in the corner, baseline drive. This is Bergen Porter with the basket. Storm down 6. Here's Emerson Williams. Clutch. Three-pointer down the stretch. This time in the corner, Ballum. Here's another one. Summit. They have the
ring
lead.
around. And it gets in.
Unbelievable. Now, Redmond needs a basket. That play is blocked later. Redmond's Dylan Cheney makes the first free throw. But here comes the second. It's an important one. It's missed. Offensive rebound. The Panthers, and they have enough time to call a timeout here with about 5 seconds left. Here's the inbounds play. Perfect pass to Freya Snow down low.
Boom.
Look at that. She makes it. She makes it, and Summit, they try to get a shot off, but they can't. That's game over. One more look at this. The Panthers, they beat Summit in the quarterfinals 44-42, and that was an absolutely picture-perfect pass, Peyton.
And what a game. Now, as we look at the bracket, Redmond advances to play top-seeded Crater in the semifinals. And let's head to that game. Redmond taking on Crater, who were absolutely dominant this year. Just one loss all season on the year. And Redmond, well, they were the first to strike. How about this? Aslan swiping it away, scoring the first points of the ball game, plus the foul. Crater jumps out to an early lead, though, added on by this three-pointer. Redmond, they need a quick response, and, well, they're going to find one. This is on the very next transition. You can't leave Bergen Porter wide open. She'll make you pay for it along the arc. The bank is open.
Yep.
She cashes in for three. Steele, we know this team's full of shooters. You also shouldn't leave Milena Norton open.
That is the player of the year for the girls' Intermountain Conference, and that's why.
And a minute later, it's going to be Norton again as she finds herself some space on the arc.
Inside out.
And Redmond takes a lead there in the first quarter, but after that, Crater really found their stride, scoring 15 points in the next 3 minutes to close out the first quarter. Comets never really looked back. The top-seeded Crater takes down Redmond, advances to the state finals 72-44. Redmond will play for the third-place game tomorrow morning.
All right, good luck, Panthers. Now to the Caldera. They were the #1 seed for most of the season, and that's exactly what they were heading into the tournament this year. The #1 seed facing LaSalle Prep. Let's get right to some action. Right before the half, this is Vance Sheffield. 3/4 heave, and it's good.
Whoa.
Holy cow. That was an 11-point lead, now to a 14-point lead. All that momentum goes to the Falcons, and here's Schaefer good. The first attempt, not good. The second one cleans it up. This is Paul Squirrel right to the rack for LaSalle, plus the foul. Will Jensen says, get this out of here. Fantastic block, third quarter. Caldera down huge. This time, it's going to be Mr. Miles. Oh, there's Will Jensen with a little big man inbounds play.
Shot.
Then this is Miles McComber. A little crossover, coast to coast. Not stopping him when he has a full steam ahead, but a little too late. Wolfpack lose big, 53-31. Jensen led the Caldera Wolfpack with 13 points.
Well, after the Caldera loss, the IMC champions Summit, the final boys team down there by you, Steele, on that side of the bracket, left with a shot at the title. The Storm taking on Thurston in the quarterfinal round, and they get an early lead. How about Ryder Grebe working his way inside? A couple possessions later, well, they're going to go right back to Grebe again for another lay-in. Then later in the first, Kai Scally finds his flow, firing away from downtown. But, you know, Steele, Scally's a two-way player, and he does it on the defensive side. Swiping away, jumping the pass, and he beats everybody to the rack. Into the second quarter, Will Manfredi finds some space, and he's just automatic from three-point land. Summit, a great first half, capped off by this open lay-in for Scally. Yeah, you don't get much more open than that. Summit up nearly 20 at the half, Then the story started to change. Final minute of the game, Thurston making a comeback. They force the turnover. This layup brings it back to just a 4-point game. Summit need a huge bucket to stay in front in the driver's seat, and they're going to get it. Over the top, Grebe. One more time. Second time of asking, he gets it to go. Summit survives the scare. They advance to the semifinals, 54-46, and still moving on to those semifinals tonight. Summit get the 14 seed Canby, the Cinderella story. The Cougars coming off 2 upsets to reach this game, and it didn't disappoint. We saw this one just about an hour ago. This game within 1 possession for its entirety. So we'll take you right to the 4th. Tompkins giving the Storm the lead. Just over a minute to play. Canby a chance to get it back, and they do. The fadeaway mid-range jumper. Next possession. Summit go to the inbound, and they turn it over. A crucial possession, missed opportunity, and seconds later, Canby will make this a 3-point game with the bucket there after the timeout. Storm have just 12 seconds remaining. 1 chance to tie this game up. Thompson goes to the drive. Defenders go in. Millman Freddie.
There it is.
It's the biggest shot of his life to tie up the ball game with 3 seconds to go. Canby have 1 chance in regulation to get back in front. And, well, they don't put up a good shot here. We are going to overtime.
That was ice in the veins and overtime.
All right, overtime. It's Summit striking first. Manfredi, the smooth pass to Tompkins. How about the bounce there? Summit get a pair. And they also find some stops, so a chance to build it here. Just over a minute to go. Instead, the Storm turn it over, and they foul, putting Canby at the line. The Cougars make both the free throws, tying things up. Now, under a minute in OT. Manfredi has it. He takes it into the lane. Spin, finger roll off the glass. Absolutely clutch.
That is just beautiful. You should put that in a picture frame, because that is art.
All right, right down on the other end, Canby needs an answer, and they get one after the offensive board. Off the glass, now tied at 45. Summit will be the last to touch it. Under 10 seconds to go, looking for the game winner. And the man of the hour, it's Rowan Blossy. He puts it up, it sits on the rim and drops in dramatic fashion with less than a second remaining. He will go to the line. There was a foul on this play. Canby can't get the shot up, and Summit are heading back to the state title game to defend last year's 5A championship. What a game.
They have a knack of hitting those buzzer beaters when it counts.
What a game.
Now to the 4A classification, Crook County Cowgirls versus Philomath. There was their matchup in the quarterfinals right now. Let's get to that action. Cowgirls down early. Philomath shoots a 3, misses. Offensive rebound. That's Reagan Heiken. This time Heiken gets a steal and the lay-in. Finishes it at the rim. Good passing by the Warriors. And Philomath, they are up big.
Roll.
But here's Emily Henderson. She shoots the 3, no good, but look at the effort for the offensive rebound and putback. Then Lucy Brooks, she lines up a 3. She's ready to fire one up. She's excited, and nothing but net. Crook County
wide open,
starting to find some shots. Then it's Henderson up the court for a lay-in. The Cowgirls, they put up a good fight, but they lost to the #1 team, Philomath, 53-35. Henderson, she led the team with 11 points for Crook County, and Crook County, they also lost their consolation game 58-30 to LeGrand.
All right, finally, going over to the boys' side, the Cowboys enter the tournament as the 4 seed, taking on Baker. Baker, this team blew out Redmond earlier in the year, so a tough matchup, and we're going straight to the 4th, in which Crook County takes a 5-point lead, and that's quickly extended thanks to Jace Jonas. Jonas gets just a little bit of daylight and fires away from 3. Bulldogs responding quick, though. They get a couple of buckets right after that, including this 3-pointer that they find after the forced turnover. Get a man open in the corner. That ties up the ball game with another triple on the end of the floor. Crook County trying to find a way to snap this lead right back, and they'll get it. Another long ball from the Cowboys, or excuse me, that's a layup to regain the lead, but Baker uses the long ball to find their own 3-point advantage late in this one. Cowboys trying to keep pace. Bryce Lowenbach gets inside a couple of times, and, well, he gets it to fall just using the length. There's 3 guys on him, and it doesn't matter whatsoever. Baker, under 2 minutes to go, regains this lead, and that's the last lead Crook County will see in this one. Baker, they can extend it with a couple of drives into the lane. Crook County, 10 seconds left, the last chance to try it. Lowenbach puts out the shot. It's no good. The offensive rebound, also no good on the putback. Cowboys forced to take Baker to the line, and the Bulldogs advance, making their free throws 54-48 in the quarterfinal.
What a game.
All right, title previews and our top plays of the tournament coming up after the break. Welcome back to High Desert Highlight Summit with that overtime dramatic
Absolutely.
win.
Great game.
Well, the 5A bracket, you can see them right there in the title game taking on LaSalle Prep, the 9 seed. It's going to be a good
I was going to say, a little surprise, 7 seed versus 9 seed in the final.
March. It's March. That's what we've come to expect.
You don't see that, but anything could happen in those type of games, and Summit has the experience, defending state champs.
And they're super deep, just a great roster with a lot of guys that can contribute. That game tomorrow night, looking forward to seeing if the Storm can take home the state title.
Be a good one. Now, we've seen a ton of impressive plays all across of our region for the local teams this year.
But it's time for this final edition of this season's High Desert Highlight to pick out our very favorite ones from this year's state tournament.
Yep, that's right. And kicking off our top plays of the state tournament, we start back with the Redmond versus Summit girls quarterfinal game. Only 4 to 5 seconds left. Inbounds play again. Freya Snow. I just can't get over this. The pass, the poise, the clutch, the finish, it just doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't, and the game winner sending Redmond into the semifinal. Our next play, it's the Whaleman Freddy three-pointer to tie up this ball game. Summit on their last legs. They absolutely needed that one. They go into overtime and end up winning this game. I also wanted to get an honorable mention for the Manfredi finger roll in overtime. He rolled into the lane to be able to put Summit up in the final minute of that overtime. But Steele, that brings us to a close on this season's edition. Here's that finger roll, that spin.
There it is.
But that brings us to an end of High Desert Highlights.
Absolutely. I want to give a big thanks to everybody for tuning in for High Desert Highlights. This has been an absolute dream come true to see where it's come and where it's at now. And these people, you have to thank these people. This is Alicia Ramsey, Alicia Hasha, Caleb Rydell, and of course,